Bye.
Bye. No regrets?
14 something, yeah?
14:45 or don't bother coming home.
Ta-ra! Love you!
Bye.
You heard it here first. Let's go run sub 15. So welcome to the last episode of my attempt to break 15 minutes in the 5K. I'm off to London today to give it one more shot. I got a PB in my last race of 15:10, so I've got to find 10 or 11 seconds to break 15 minutes. I can't wait, I'm excited, looking forward to it. Let's get to London on the train and give this a shot. So in my last race, I had the family there and it was so much fun having them supporting, and we celebrated afterwards. It was just such a great day. Today is a very different vibe. It's a solo adventure to London. I'm on my own, but what I'm going to do is still try and have fun and relax. I found that my best performances have come in the races where I've taken the pressure off, relaxed, and just raced the people in the race. So that's the plan. Yes, it's going to hurt, yes, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to take a few more risks, race the people that are there, and just see what performance that brings, rather than focusing too much on the time and the pressure that that goal can put on my shoulders. So I can feel my legs are ready for this. A couple of easy days have really brought them back to life. Walking around, bouncing the bouncy step. I think a little bit of excitement is to play a part in that, but yeah, I think the legs are ready to go faster than they ever have. Last time I PB'd when I did 16 miles the day before and a session the day before that. So in theory my legs should be a lot fresher this time, and hopefully with a faster race, a faster field, more boys to race against, this could be a good one. Also, listening to some banging tunes hasn't helped me from bouncing around the train station. The new remix of Big City Life has me all over the place. But I always thought it was Big City Lights, and now I'm actually listening to the words, and it's definitely not. So I'm glad I've set off early because someone has pulled the emergency brake on the train and the driver doesn't know how to reset the system, so we are stationary. Let's hope no one does that to my legs during the race later. Made it to London, get some food now. I think there's a burrito place nearby. You know I love a burrito. The guy gave me guac for free. Maybe it's my day. Maybe all the stars are aligning. So I'm just in a coffee shop, catching up with some work, waiting for the race. And I thought I'd quickly go through the races that I've had in this block and my strategy tonight. When I started this block and I was injured, I was coming back from a stress fracture. I'd taken about eight weeks completely off running and just done some cycling on the bike. But this block was all about chasing a bold goal, but something to really motivate me, to make me work hard and to go after something that I thought was achievable, but a very challenging target. If you remember back to the beginning of the block, when I did a 10K, I ran 35 minutes, or 34 high, so I was nowhere near the shape I needed to be in. And then I've worked hard, and my first race in Bristol 5K, I ran 15:25, which I was really excited about. I wasn't expecting to be in that sort of shape so early. A couple of days later, in podium in Leicester, I ran 15:14, so that was a huge shock to take such a chunk off, and excited me that I was going to hit my goal soon. But that's what us runners do. Sometimes we get a little bit carried away, and I then tweaked my hamstring in a local 4-mile race like a week later or so. Which put me back, but then in Cardiff I really believed I was going to break 15 and ran 15:23, which was really disappointing. It just wasn't my day. I think I put too much pressure on myself and it just didn't click. But then in Bristol more recently I ran a PB. It validated all the hard work that's gone into this training block, 15:10, and it's given me confidence that I can break 15 tonight if things go my way. I'm in the shape, I just need to get the mindset right and go with the pace. I'm taking the pressure off, I'm not going to be bogged down by splits, and instead I'm just going to make sure I race as hard as I can and stick with the pack. Let's see how it goes. So I went into the coffee shop and it was quite warm, really sunny, and absolutely no wind. And I've come out and it's cold and it's pretty breezy, but I'll take the cold, that's perfect. Hopefully that'll really help because it's been warm. And the wind isn't going to be too much of an issue, I hope, because there's going to be so many fast runners. I looked at the field online and hopefully everyone turns up because it's incredible and it makes a difference, and that's why I make the effort to come to these races, come all the way to London for this race, is because having fast people around makes a difference, not only because you can draft, but also because you can sort of switch off mentally. You know they're going fast, so you don't need to keep on checking your watch, and yeah, it just pulls you along basically. And I'm very, very, very competitive, so having anyone up ahead just makes you want to dig in and work a bit harder. So I've made it to the infamous Battersea Park, where I've seen so many people run quick times. I'm here now, it's my turn. Reese? All right, ready for this?
Yeah, ready.
So the nerves are building. It's very no-nonsense racing, this is very serious. A lot of focused people pinning their bibs to their singlets, vests, and yeah, just waiting around. Still got an hour or so until the race. Park is starting to get busy now, and yeah, I just want to get going really. I was talking to one runner and he had a nice 5K strategy. He was like, first mile, he knows he can run the first mile, which I agree. Second mile, send it then, because the second mile is when you lose your focus and you let the time slip, and just whatever's left in the third mile, the motivation of being near the end will drag you through. But yeah, that second mile is the one where people lose their focus, so send it at mile 2. It's what I did in my first race, and that went pretty well, so yeah, let's try that again. Look what I found!
All right, hello.
He's back!
I'm just walking around the inner park and I bump into you, Matt.
Whenever you go for a race, you'll be there somewhere, hiding in the trees. In the trees, in the bushes.
Camouflage.
And here we see the expert at work, looking at his masterpiece.
Oh, hello.
Warm up done a loop of the park. It is a fast loop, I'm excited for this. Do some drills and strides now and then we'll get going. Yeah, no wonder people run quick here. It's really nice. Hopefully there's no dogs or anyone getting in the way, but yeah, it should be good. Looking forward to this. Very nervous, but let's go all in.
Okay, lead bike, he's about 100 away. So this is going to be a good fast time, a pre-relay time, a pre-Aldershot relay time of course. 65 teams entered when I last checked, Keith. Nice. Yeah, it's Ben Alcock I think. He's come back from...
Southern champ, wasn't he?
Yep, Ben Alcock who's just come back from injury. So this is a good rust buster, 14:23. And you've got Swindon Harriers here I think that is. And then we've got Dan Mulroney in third and Tom Jervis. they're both under 14:30 each side there, so everyone's under 14:35 there. Then you've got Rebel battling out here with the Chiltern Harriers guy. Then you've got Ealing. Then you've got Winchester, Marshall Smith, City of Norwich, Ealing, Stragglers. Big shout there for a PB by the looks of it. Adam Milbury. You've got
That's the Welsh runner guy, isn't it?
Come on,
well, mate.
Well in.
You probably can't see this, but I don't care. I've done it. I've actually done it. Oh, so happy. I'll break down the race later, but I came across the line just roaring with joy. Like, I've finally broken 15. All this work for this block has paid off. I knew the training was working. I knew it just hadn't clicked in a race. And I absolutely smashed through the 15 barrier. I loved that race. It was so good. And yeah, I'm just absolutely ecstatic. I just phoned Kelly, been on the phone to her, and it's just one of those things off my back now, whatever the saying is. It's done. Love that race. It just clicked, just went so well. But yeah, like I said, I'll break it down when I've got some proper light and some proper audio. Remember when Harry taught me to be a perseverance parrot, to keep on trying at things? Well, tonight was my night. I have finally broken 15 minutes of 5k. Get in! So I'm sat alone on the tube, heading to see my brother who lives in London, and I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't believe it. So I tried to film on the tube, but I forgot how loud they are. So that's all useless. But yeah, I'm in Morden. I'm meeting my brother. We're gonna get a curry and a pint. And yeah, I'm still buzzing. It's 9:30, so it's quite a late dinner. But yeah, just so happy. I want to tell you all about the race, and I will. I'll break it down properly. But for now, I'm just buzzing, and what I want to come across is that you can work hard and still it not pay off, and you don't want to at that point think, just give up. You want to keep on taking shots, because I thought I was in the shape, and then I was missing and missing and missing. But tonight it clicked. So yeah, if you're chasing a PB or got big goals, remember that you can hit them if you just keep on taking them.
Morning. I've had no sleep. I've been buzzing all night and the adrenaline's kept me up. Let me get a coffee and then we'll break down the race. This is me breaking down the race off no sleep. The first race went off at about 7 o'clock. I started my warm-up after that. I was feeling really nervous, but I did my warm-up and I felt pretty springy and quite fresh. My legs clearly were ready to run. The race started basically, and I think it was about 70 odd people in the race. And it was just this massive pack of runners. And I was pretty much in the middle of this pack. And I felt like I wasn't running, I was just floating along. And I didn't look at my watch. You almost like, you couldn't look at your watch. There were so many like heels or people you could clip. And it was getting dark. Especially on the first bit with the trees along the side, it made it quite a sheltered area, and it was quite dark. So I was like, just do not trip anyone else, do not get tripped. And that was my complete focus for like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the race. And I knew we were running quick, but it didn't feel like we were running quick. It felt like I was moving fast, but not putting any effort in, if that makes any sense. It was exciting, but obviously I was still just like nervous, like how's this gonna feel in a couple of kilometers time? Anyway, I got through the first lap, so about 2.5 kilometers. I still haven't looked at my watch at this point. I'm like, I better look, I better see what sort of pace I'm on for. I looked down and I was like, oh wow, what have I done? I'm going way too fast. But I felt great. I think I looked down and my pace was like 4:40 a mile, and for sub 15 I needed 4:50. So I needed 3-minute Ks and I was like doing 2:50 something a K. Yeah, I felt amazing. And I was like, right, Matt, trust the legs. I kept on repeating in my head, your legs feel golden. They feel so good. And they did, they felt amazing. It was actually, my legs were like enticing me. They were like, go on, Matt, go a bit faster. You can go a bit faster than this. So a few times I did like, if a gap opened up, I'd like move through the gap and like make it to the next group. Because there was so many runners around, you could always like get onto a group. So I was like moving through the field and my legs were like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But like my chest was starting to hurt and it was starting to get really tough. And I was like, do not get carried away.
The other thing I said as I came through one lap was, if you blow this, Matt, if you blow this, then you are an absolute fool because you feel amazing and you've banked time and you feel great. Just don't be a muppet. Don't blow this. You can get your sub 15 today as long as you're just not an idiot. You've got a really good gauge of how fast you're going, not pace-wise, but you know if you're slowing down, people start coming past you, and if you're speeding up, you start going past other people, or they're slowing down. Anyway, we hit the 4th K, and my aim was to manually lap. So this was the first time in the race that I finally got to manually lap to give myself a gauge of whether I was running well. Because GPS could be off, and I would only looked at my pace, and I knew I was ahead of pace. But manually lapping at the K marker is the best way to know if you're actually on for a good time or the time you're going for. So I lapped it, and I looked down, and it was 11:46, and 12 would be like dead on 15 pace. And I was like, oh my God, I've banked 14 seconds. What on earth? I am miles ahead of target. I've got 1 kilometre to go, and I've got to run a 3:14, which is like my half marathon goal pace. I was like, you've done it. And I got a little bit complacent. I was like, just don't mess this up. Just don't do anything stupid. And it was starting to really hurt at this point. My legs actually were still crying out for me to run faster, but the rest of me was like, I'm in agony, please, can we slow down? And it's very difficult in those moments. Your head's just crying for you to slow down, and I almost got a little bit complacent thinking, you've done it, just cruise in. So then I was like, am I going too slow now? Am I going too slow? Maybe the GPS is off. I don't know, my head was starting to like play tricks with me. I looked down at my watch to check the pace, just to make sure that, you know, that I hadn't misread the 4K lap. And there was only 2 bollards in the whole loop. And it's the most decorated bollard in high-vis jacket, high-vis tape. It was so like well marked. I'd even seen it on my warm-up, but I was looking at my watch. And at the last second, I glance up and the bollard's there, staring me in the face, saying, your race is over, my friend. You've messed this up. But I went back to my old rugby days and football days, and at the last second, I sidestepped this bollard. I must have been inches away from it. I don't know how I avoided it and how I didn't sidestep into another runner. I started swearing at myself. I was like, you absolute... You know, I'm not going to repeat the swear words, but I was swearing at myself, cursing at myself, because I was so angry. And I was like, you nearly threw away the race. You threw away the race, looking at your watch. But it gave me this adrenaline rush. And I like went out wide, and I surged, and I must have overtaken about 8 or 9 people while swearing at myself. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, okay. It can't be that long left now. And I recognised this bit of the course, and I thought, it's just around that bend, and then it's time to start thinking about a sprint finish. Dug in round the bend, gave everything I had in the sprint finish, and when I saw that clock, that I was in reach of it, and it was like 14 something, and I was going to be well under, all the emotions came flooding in, and I just roared like, come on, or something, and shouted as I crossed the line. It was just such an incredible feeling. And the reason it was so incredible, not because this is some spectacular thing I've done, I think it's the failures and the letdowns, and I've put a lot of work in, I've worked hard, yeah, but if I'd worked hard and hit it first time, it wouldn't have felt as good as it did yesterday. The feeling of getting my goal after coming close and then getting further away and coming close again and just not quite clicking in a race. So that feeling was just epic. Crossed the line, and it was so good that Jerry was there. It was nice to have a friend there that I knew, because obviously the family couldn't support this one on a school night in London. Bit of a trip for them. So yeah, I missed having them there, and it would have been great if they had been there to witness it. But having a friend there, Jerry, Corey was there, he's from Lydney, and he was saying well done and stuff. So it was nice to have people there that I knew. And also the running community is so supportive. The number of people that came up to me and said, did you get it? Did you get it? Was really, really nice. Other people that had their own races, you know, and they were thinking about whether I had broken my goal. So, but I can't believe it. 14:46 chip time. First old man, first V35. In a race of that caliber, like, to see a 1 next to my name for cat position is just ridiculous. But yeah, not only breaking the 15 barrier, but absolutely smashing through it. I said to Kelly before I travelled, I said, you know, it hasn't clicked for me yet, but I know I'm in the shape, and I wouldn't be surprised if I got a 14:50, if I absolutely smashed through. And she was like, 14:45, that's what you need to aim for. So 14:46 is a pretty good result. And I knew that making the effort to come to a fast race, a fast course with loads of fast runners, makes a difference, and it was worth coming to, because I knew I was in the shape and I just needed one to click, and yesterday was the one that clicked. If you remember back in the Cardiff episode, I was walking and I said, I'm allowing myself to feel a bit about this, because it does mean a lot. Like, I've set this goal and I really want to hit it, and when I was so far away in Cardiff, I said I'll allow myself to feel like this, but it won't stop me from coming back and trying again. And that's what last night was. It was redemption, it was validation that the training was paying off, it was working. It just needed a bit of patience, a bit of belief, and the right race. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.
Kelly's come to pick me up. She left me as a 15-minute runner, and now I'm coming back as a 14-minute runner.
Look.
Dada! Dada! Mama, Dada!
Where is Dada?
Mwah.
Dada, Baba.
Yeah! Have you missed me?
Baby.
Dada led home. It wasn't 14:45.
Dada, Bubble.
It is rubble.
Is Dada allowed home now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.